Swinburne University of Technology.
I've had a really long experience supervising PhDs, masters and smaller number of honours students. I've got a little plaque sitting to my left for my 50th graduate, but I'm into that was 2004. I think I'm up around 75 now. I've sort of lost count. And over the last decade, very few of my students, if any, have gone beyond their period of candidature, because I've learnt what works well for me and what works well for students. And what works the best is for everybody to treat this as a job and as a business proposition in a way. I like students to meet with me regularly. I expect appointments to be in a diary, so not on a haphazard manner. I think you make regular appointments with an agenda, with minutes and with action items and a timeline associated with those action items. Some of those action items will apply to the student, but some will apply to the supervisor. It is a mutual relationship, and making sure there is a constant recording of what's occurring and the decisions that are being made and the timelines for delivery of the next stage is really important, I think, for both the student and the supervisor. The whole PhD process can be very open-ended. Many of us are used to working in jobs where we don't control what comes in, the in-tray. You turn up at work and there's your email full, or there's your virtual or your physical in-tray is full, and you don't actually have to create your own agenda of activities. I think the only time in my professional life where I've had to drive what's in my in-tray is when I did my PhD and when I've had sabbaticals, and it is very difficult if you're used to being busy and the busyness being imposed on you. So I am yet to see a student who doesn't benefit from creating the structures around a usual place of employment, as I said, with agendas, timelines, minutes and action items. I've yet to see a student where that doesn't assist them and assist their supervisor with getting through to the end. And then no one can complain about, who's doing what, where and whom. I also think it's very important for students to think that this should give me a skill set. It is not just that I'm going to come out as the world's greatest expert on the impact of X on Y, but I'm going to come out with a toolkit that I can apply to all sorts of questions. Some of those questions may be in an academic career, but they also could help your practice career. They could be skills around data management. They could be skills around, broadening your base from doing systematic reviews for your literature review instead of a standard literature review. There should be a whole toolkit of things that you learn, that you develop along the way. The other thing to remember is that the PhD is not the end. It's really the beginning of the rest of your life. It does not have to turn the world upside down. You don't even need successful results. What you need is to show that you can engage critically with your material and think about it and write about it critically, with sort of using higher order skills and not just straight descriptive skills. That is a key in terms of the quality of your writing and making progress with the PhD. The other secret is to write early and write often. Do not leave the writing to the very end. I know very few people who find writing easy. Very, very, very few. And if you listen to interviews with authors, successful authors of fiction or non-fiction, they all say how hard it is. Even though that's their livelihood, the key is to do a little bit regularly, and it doesn't have to, the first draft isn't your last draft. The key is to get into the routine of writing, and that's why this process of being organised, having an agenda, keeping a logbook for your research is really very important. I've got lots more suggestions, and I might leave them for another time when I meet you all. Thank you.
This has been a Swinburne production.